A few days ago, an acquaintance I wasn't particularly close with came to me asking to borrow money. I felt quite awkward. The last time we spoke was 3 years ago, but it must have been an absolute emergency for her to seek me out for a loan like this. Her father had a heart condition that had worsened significantly, requiring immediate heart surgery. The cost of the operation was 300 million VND. For a long time, the relationship between her parents wasn't good. Her father worked as a construction worker, earning very little, and every week he'd gather with friends to drink. After each drinking session, the house would become lively. But that liveliness was the sound of arguments between the couple, now over 50. For decades since she was a child, their home had always been noisy. Her mother would often loudly tell her father to go die, and the most common phrase she heard from her mother was, "Your father is a mess, so you must study hard to change your life." Yet, when her father fell ill, her mother became the most worried. For several days, her father couldn't eat or drink, becoming very gaunt and thin. Her mother, whom her father used to tease as fierce as a lioness, instantly became so gentle. She tried every way to coax her father to eat more, to gain strength to fight his illness. For so long, facing her parents' constant arguments, she always felt that the older generation's view of marriage was so antiquated. If they weren't compatible, why not just divorce? Why endure each other and continue living together? But now, she found herself envying and deeply admiring her parents' marriage, a lifetime with only one person. She had just graduated from university and didn't have a stable job. Throughout her 4 years of college, her parents had to borrow money from the bank. Now, there were no savings in the house. Coming up with such a large sum of money immediately was truly as difficult as reaching for the sky for her family. Both her parents were old and frail. She had to run around borrowing from everyone she knew. For her, this seemed like the rock bottom of her life. Many times, she truly wanted to break down in despair. She saw through the true nature of many people, especially her relatives and close family. They avoided her whenever they could, fearing she would ask them for money at this critical moment. But perhaps more than ever, this was also the time that made her mature quickly. I myself felt helpless. I could only transfer a small amount of money to her, hoping she could get through this period. Her difficulties reminded me of an old friend. Years ago, his parents divorced when he was 17. He lived with his mother, who ran a small pho shop. During the rainy season in Saigon, business was very slow. People often say that divorce is a separation between husband and wife, not between parents and children. But his father was different. His father also separated from him. For many years, he vanished without a trace, offering no financial support. His mother struggled alone to raise him and put him through school, but due to all the hardship, she developed several illnesses. Suddenly, his mother fell gravely ill. Doctors said she needed surgery costing hundreds of millions of VND. In the hospital hallway, he made calls from morning till night, trying to borrow money. His voice grew hoarse, tears streaming down his face. He was scared, afraid he couldn't borrow the money, afraid there wouldn't be enough for his mother's surgery, and afraid something terrible would happen to her. Finally, he decided to call his father, who had been absent for so many years. But it was like a bucket of cold water poured over him, making him more awake than ever, feeling a bitter sting. His father said, "Your mother and I are divorced. Go ask your maternal grandparents' family for help." That sentence, though disappointing, didn't shatter him. He realized that now, in this world, his mother only had him, so he had to be stronger than ever. Eventually, some relatives lent him a small amount of money, and our student group, his friends, pooled together over 50 million VND. But this amount was still not enough for the surgery. The doctor watched him burst into tears in the hallway and shed tears himself. With no other option, his mother had to be discharged, surviving on medication for the time being. From then on, his personality completely changed. He was no longer the shy child he used to be. He threw himself into working part-time to earn money, studying and working simultaneously, living an incredibly arduous life. Sometimes, he longed to be like his peers, carefree, focused on studies, getting their favorite things bought by their parents, traveling with their families. That dream life seemed like a luxury he could never attain. But now, alone, he possessed the strength of several people combined, shouldering the burden from his mother's shoulders, living resiliently and fearlessly. Standing beside him, I sensed an immense inner strength within that small person, the inner strength of hope and love for his mother. Perhaps this is life. Money isn't everything, but everything depends on money. It dictates many things in life, even a person's survival. To earn money, we cannot rely on anyone but ourselves, and family is the inner strength that pushes us to strive and move forward. Some say parents are the wall separating us from death. When parents are still here, we often find life beautiful, but when they pass, we realize how short life truly is. I remember the novel, 100 Years of Solitude, also saying something similar. We and death are perhaps only separated by a curtain, and parents are that curtain. We don't feel death because parents always stand between us, shielding us. The passing of relatives, friends, or neighbors doesn't directly pressure us, but parents are different. When they leave, we will distinctly feel death. Death will no longer be an abstract concept. In our rebellious teenage years, we often disobeyed our parents, confronted them, and sometimes even wished to be left alone. As adults, when we go out into society, we learn to be patient and humble with strangers, yet we often fail to learn to be patient and gentle with our parents. Only when they leave us forever do we realize that our bond with this world has become more fragile. We often think life is long, but no, the cruelty of time, the brevity of life will never wait for anyone. So, when you are young, please don't be lazy. Try to earn a lot of money. Make yourself a capable person. In crucial moments, money remains a sturdy shield, a key factor that can resolve many life-threatening problems. If you want to stand strong and fearless against life's storms, you absolutely must equip yourself with solid financial resources to protect yourself from unforeseen circumstances and to protect those you love. Don't wait until life throws cold water on us for us to finally wake up. Just like, don't wait until your parents fall critically ill and you cannot protect them simply because you don't have enough money. Remember this, strive to earn money to minimize future regrets. And second, always remind your parents to take proper care of their health. Exercise with them daily, guide them in eating a nutritious and scientific diet, and take them for regular health checkups. I have a close friend who, despite being young, has almost achieved financial freedom. On the day his father passed away, he told me something. Although the pain of losing my father will linger, the only thing that brings me joy and no regret is that while he was alive, I had enough financially to provide him with the best medical care and support. This, roughly, is the meaning behind why we strive to work and earn money. We cannot let a time come when our parents need us, and all we have to offer are tears. This is the reality of this world. We might never truly know the feeling of profound distress simply because we haven't faced the plight of lacking money. An adult's breakdown often begins with financial difficulties when witnessing parents fall ill and face the door of death, yet we are powerless against the circumstances, lacking the economic means to treat them, forced to borrow money everywhere. That is the moment that makes a person mature quickly. When we were young, our parents devoted themselves entirely to shielding and protecting us. As we grow up, it's time for us to take on the responsibility from our parents' shoulders. Keep striving, my friend, so you can see a more beautiful landscape in a more distant place, to understand this world in a more wonderful way. And strive to become a strong and capable person to provide a more secure life for our family, for our parents. The best child is not a treasure in their parents' arms, but a strong shield that protects their beloved parents.